There are some video games that just have this dramatically outsized footprint within video game culture, regularly coming back into the discussion in new and refreshed guises. Tetris and Rez are two prime examples of this, but in very different ways. And with the PlayStation VR 2 launch giving Enhance another opportunity to live up to their name, they've revisited their more recent iterations on these classics, Tetris Effect Connected and Rez Infinite. Let's start with Rez, because it released on Dreamcast and PlayStation 2 in the early 2000s, and it really staked out Tetsuya Mizuguchi's contribution to video games. This was a pioneering experience combining visuals, audio, haptics, and video game into one. Every game of his since then has sought to invoke similar blends of sensory input and an overall sense of synesthesia. Tetris Effect Connected is at the other end of his creative endeavour, leaning on the zen-like state that Tetris players reach in the original block-dropping phenomenon, though he obviously tried to explore that in his own right with the Lumines games. Both of these games are indelibly linked to the PlayStation VR, the original one. Rez Infinite was remastered for PS4 in 2016 and redesigned to be compatible with this nascent VR platform, alongside a new concluding stage, Area X, to push the visual design further with the more modern technology at hand. 2 years later, then Tetris Effect emerged as a PS4 and PSVR exclusive, this sparkling rendition of the game that then proliferated to other platforms and gained new online modes in the process. But now there's PSVR 2, and it's safe to say that even if Sony's new headset did feature backward compatibility, Mizuguchi-san would still have jumped at the chance to take advantage of its new sensory possibilities. So yes, both games have naturally been upgraded to use PSVR 2's higher resolution display, looking fantastic in the process, whether it's the wireframes and polygons of the original stages of Rez, or the smaller sparkling points of lights that proliferate through Tetris Effect's more eye-catching backgrounds and menus. They've also added a handful of new game modes to Tetris, endless versions of this and that, to give players the long-requested modes that are applicable for competitive leaderboard play. Both have also been updated to take advantage of the controller haptic motors. It's important to note that you can simply play Tetris with a DualSense and its D-pad, so you don't need to worry about not having a D-pad on the Sense controller. But then there's also the unusual quirk of the PSVR 2 headset having a rumble motor built into it itself. You will be gently buzzed by it when triggering the zone in Tetris, and at times during Rez as well. Still, it's quite tame compared to the full synesthesia suit that Mizuguchi-san concocted for Rez back in the early 2000s, or the rumble pad to sit on that you could get with the original release as well. But then there's the eye tracking, which is built into each PSVR 2 headset, able to follow where you're looking within the game world. It's been used in other games like Horizon Call of the Mountain for menu selections which sit under your gaze, and for foveated rendering to allow the PS5 to focus its graphical power where it is most needed. Rez Infinite has an entirely different option though, letting you aim and lock on your shots just by looking at the targets for a split second. It is quietly wonderful. There's now no need to move a stick to sweep a cursor around the play space. There's not even the need to move your head most of the time, although you can still use the plain head tracking to move your targeting if you wish. You just hold the button and quickly scan with your eyes. It brings a new meaning to the phrase death stare and almost feels like you've got a thought-based superpower at times. Oh sure, it also feels like a cheat mode for a game that was originally designed with analog stick inputs in mind. But honestly, it's a single player game, so who really cares at this point? This is about having fun and engaging you in an almost seamless fashion with the game and the experience itself. Of course, we know the absolute quality of both of these games already, and this is a mixture of utterly expected technical improvements and enhanced tapping into PSVR 2's more advanced and unique features. Tetris Effect Connected and Rez Infinite remain as sublime as ever in Sony's new VR generation. That's all that we've got for this video, but make sure to check out the rest of our PSVR 2 content on YouTube. We've got GT7, we've got Horizon Call of the Mountain, we've got the original review of the headset itself. And we've also got even more content in written form over on the 6thaxis.com. If you want to support what we're doing, then make sure to like, subscribe to all of the usual YouTube things, but also just keep visiting us on YouTube and over on the website as well. Hopefully, with that in mind, we will see you again soon. Goodbye!